Hey there, it's the English Picker here. I'm just chilling out here, just finishing up an Amazon FBA shipment, and I just wanted to do this quick video really to discuss my disgruntlement and dismay at some of the new people who've started doing Amazon FBA. Now, to those people who don't necessarily know what Amazon FBA is, Amazon FBA is a service offered by Amazon which is called Fulfilled by Amazon, which normally if you were to sell on Amazon you'd sell what's called merchant fulfilled, which is much like eBay, where you in, input, excuse me, that was my phone, input information into the Amazon system on the condition of your item, put the price, and then when the item sells, you dispatch it yourself. Now, the service offered by Amazon via Fulfilled by Amazon is where you do exactly the same with the condition and whatnot. You label up your items, you put them in a box, and you send them off to Amazon. Then Amazon stores the items. Then when the items sell, they are dispatched by Amazon through their fulfillment network to the customer. And then Amazon also deals with all the customer services and returns and things like that. So really it's a sort of a hands-off type thing. Now the benefit of that, the main benefits are Amazon stores your items, Amazon, so you don't have walls of stuff around. They deal with annoying customers and things like that, which is both a benefit and a disadvantage because then you have zero control over returns. And also you get access to one of the main benefits is you get access to Prime members. Now Prime members pay about £70 a year, and they get excuse me, all sorts of benefits such as the music, movies and all that, but also they get free postage over orders over £20, I think it is. So they get free delivery on those orders, and also they get next day. In the UK they get next day delivery if you order before a certain time, which is fantastic. So if somebody needs, say, this screwdriver thing, this Stanley screwdriver thing, and they need it tomorrow, they can order, as long as it totals up to over 20 quid. They still get the next day, but they'll pay for it if it's under 20 quid. They order it, and then it comes the next day, which that, for people who lead hectic lifestyles, somebody who's got, a full-time stressful job, they've got 2 kids, maybe they've got an elderly relative who isn't well, and they just need it now. They don't want to go trawling around looking for the best price. They just need it now. Those are the kind of customers when you sell via FBA that you are selling to. So say it's some guy it's his anniversary the next day and his wife's wanted this particular book and he needs it the next day. He will be willing to pay more for that book. But also you get the day-to-day people who, they've got a Prime account and they're just shopping for stuff, and they haven't got time to bargain hunt. So you're pitching it to those customers. Now the disadvantages of FBA are that you have little to no control over the returns. Now I've had this quite a few times where I've got stung by it. I've sold new and sealed products on there. Someone's bought it, opened it up, thought, I don't really like this, and then for whatever reason they send it back. Now Amazon shouldn't take that return because of international selling laws, but 9 times out of 10 they do. They've opened it. I've had huge Nerf guns, new and sealed. They've opened it up, didn't like the look of it, sent it back. And because they think it's sold by Amazon, they don't really care. They think, oh, Amazon will absorb the cost. But then I get an item back which, originally sold for 80 quid, and now I'll be lucky to get 25, and I'm probably have to sell it on eBay. So it's a real kick in the trousers, that sort of thing is. Also, the other disadvantage is with them storing the items, they do charge you quite a lot of money to store them. If you have volumes such that I have, Yeah, I've got over 5,000 items. I try and keep it around that sort of number at present, and it adds up definitely. And also with the change of the long-term storage fees that they assess you every 6 months, every 6 months or so, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of pounds worth of fees just for storing the items. But that being said, if I was to hire a storage unit, it would cost that and more to store them all. So for me, it's good value for money, but new people into this need to bear that in mind. That Amazon aren't in the storage business, they're in the selling business, and that's very much the mindset where they come from. Now, the other disadvantage, which a lot of people talk about, is the fees. Now, I typically work on about 40% of what the item sells for goes in fees. Now, you might be thinking, good grief, that's loads, because I mean, eBay's about 15, maybe 20%, so it is double what eBay is. Now, that is true, but for me, I'm willing to pay that price because one of the great advantages is that while Amazon are selling the items for me, I can be getting on with doing eBay. So it's effectively like employing somebody without the paperwork nightmare of doing so. So for me, it's great. So they're the pros and cons, really. Now I'll get on to the main subject of what I wanted to talk about, which is some of the areas where people have gone wrong that I've seen starting, on Amazon. Now, the main area where I'm not going to name names, but some of the quote unquote gurus of Amazon that are just starting, say, people who've started up and talking about it a lot and putting out videos even though they haven't done it that much, one of their main shortcomings is their price. Now, because you're appealing to prime customers, do not underprice your items. Do not underestimate the power of prime. You can charge a decent amount of money for something. So I regularly sell books for between £6 and £10 that the merchant people are selling for 1 penny plus £2.80 postage. Now you might think, Tom, how on earth are you doing that? Now it's not some kind of crazy magic, or I'm not, basically often it's textbooks. A pupil needs this book for a class they've got in 3 days' time, and they're just going to pay it because they're not going to chance it maybe turning up in 2 weeks. And with the power of Amazon behind you, you've got the strength to charge for those prices. Now, I've seen a lot of new sellers coming in and not only, putting less than other prime prices by a chunk, but some people are going even cheaper than the merchant prices, which is crazy. That if you there's one recently that it was a controller, and all the merchant prices were at like £25 and whatnot plus postage, and then this prime seller who'd just launched and got about 80 feedback had come in at like £21 or something. It was like a couple of quid under. Now, one, you're paying for, I mean, when you sell via merchant, it's less fees. It's sort of about 25, 30, probably about 25%, I think it is. And you're posting it out as well. So you've not got the storage fee, you haven't got the cost of sending the items to Amazon. So they're making, a decent amount on that. And then you're charging less, but then have more fees. It's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Not only is you're leaving money on the table. I mean, for that example where the merchants are charging 25 and that person was say charging 21, you could probably ask 30 to 35 pounds. So I mean, realistically, they're leaving at least £10 on the table, and this particular item had a low sales rank, which meant that the item was selling multiple times a day, and they're just leaving money on the table. And also, it spoils it for everybody else who's selling via FBA, and it also changes people's buyers' perceptions in their minds. In that, why is this so cheap? And also, it devalues prime prices. So, it's lose lose. Yeah, okay, you're shifting your inventory quick, but in that particular circumstance, that was an item that sells multiple times a day anyway, so there was no need to undercut the merchant price. So that's one of the biggest, problems I see with a lot of new people starting FBA. The other problem I see is packaging. Now, you have to follow Amazon's strict code of packaging. Now, apologies, this video is going to be a long one, but there are some great videos online done by Amazon themselves which show the proper packing procedure for items. Now, for example, if you're selling items such as kids' toys that have got partially open fronted packaging, you do have to polybag them. And the polybags, if they're over a certain size, do have to have suffocation warning labels. Now, because that size, there is a set size, but just to cover my own arse, on anything that I polybag, I put these are just suffocation warning labels, you can see there. You can either print them off yourself or I buy these in bulk and I just slap them all over the place just to cover myself, because it doesn't take much for Amazon to shut you down, and a couple of lead people, myself included, have been shut down by Amazon for one thing or another, whether it's mild paperwork issues or something more significant. I've got shut down twice and it was really difficult to get reinstated. And when you've got a huge inventory of thousands of items, you're financially blackmailed by Amazon to do the right thing. So that's one thing people get wrong, is proper packaging. I also use these, you can see there, they're like circular seals. I'll peel one off. I use these for DVDs. They just seal the edge, make it look a lot more professional. And although the cases probably won't open, I do it on higher value DVDs and games, sort of over like 10 quid. It's about perception, and then also if a customer's opened it and potentially changed CDs or anything like that, to cover yourself. Another top tip is to get one of these permanent ultraviolet marker pens. These are so cheap on eBay. I use these to mark any electronics that I send into FBA. I also record all serial numbers and put those in the condition notes, because it is very easy to get scammed. So, getting sidetracked. The other thing I see a lot of new sellers sort of neglecting is their feedback. If you get bad feedback, you need to address that straight away. It does have a huge impact on your account, especially negative ones. It is easier to get negative ones removed compared to eBay, but you need to be constantly looking at your feedback and just being right on board, because I've seen some people where it says just launched and then it's like 82% feedback. So, you're not going to last long on FBA doing that. And plus, with them holding your items, if you get kicked off, you've got to pay to get those items sent back to you, which could cost you dearly. So, definitely look at that. Now, the next sort of thing that a lot of new people go wrong on Amazon FBA, and also a lot of merchant sellers, relates to the media category. Now, I sell a lot in media and computer games, and what I see a lot is bundled media. Now, it is against Amazon's policies to bundle any media items. So, for example, I don't know why you would, but I've just got two random games here. I've got Euro Truck Simulator and Looney Tunes Back in Action. Now, on eBay, you could put those together and say bundle of games or whatnot. Or I could get like 4 PlayStation 2 games and put them together and say bundle of games. Now, it is against Amazon's policies to do that. The classic example I see is someone selling a PlayStation 2 and then saying, oh, it comes with no controller and 4 games. You can't do that. It's against their policies, and they're very strict about it. And you will get kicked off Amazon so quickly if you start doing things like that. whatever the product page description says, as an FBA seller, you need to comply to exactly. So if you're selling a PlayStation 2, for example, if the listing page says it comes with a memory card, a controller, all the cables, then that's what you have to send in. You physically could send in just a PlayStation 2 console with no cables, but you're going to get negative feedback because people don't read the condition notes. They just see, oh, PlayStation 2, oh, that's cheap. Order that, it arrives. Well, wait a minute, why is there no controller? And you'll get negative feedback, and then soon you'll be off. You'll be off Amazon. So don't do it. Don't bundle media items, and keep that stuff for eBay. This is sort of very robotic, very tight. There's no, oh, I'll just add this to make it a bit better. You can't, unfortunately. That just doesn't happen. So don't bundle media stuff. Don't freestyle or think out the box too much. Just go with what the page says. And that being said as well, just check the page, because sometimes there'll be little things which will trip you up. Say you're selling, I don't know, this is just a medication that I've got for my back. On Amazon, this is a restricted category, which is irrelevant, but, stuff, I don't know, say you're selling 2 cables or something. It might say in the small print, quantity 2. Now, you've got to be really careful, because that's tripped me up before in the past, where the listing has said quantity 2, but actually I've sent in 1, or sometimes just the barcode will be wrong. There's an example over there where it's a computer game that, let me go and get it actually. Okay, this is a good example. It's a good game to look out for. It's a DS game here, Wink's Quest for the Codex. Now when I scan this into Amazon, it comes up with Wink's Club 2, the Quest for the Codex. Now that is the sequel, which is totally different to this game. But when I scan this barcode in, that game comes up. So I nearly sent this in. That's why it's got the label on it there, which would normally be over the barcode. Not like that. But I haven't put it over the barcode to remind me not to send it in. But that is wrong, that listing. So, sometimes people change the Amazon listings. Like I had a random listing which went from a computer games accessory to being a bag of flour, and then it was like mishmash. There is errors, and that's a classic one. So if you sent that in and sent it in as Wix Club 2, the Quest for Codex, and the person it arrived to, and it's the first one, they'd be like, well, Amazon sent me the wrong thing. You probably get a negative feedback, it get returned, and yeah, you've got to be real careful with stuff like that. So keep an eye out for that. So we've done that, and then also I'll lastly go back into the pricing thing, which really is the main shortcoming of a lot of the new sellers, is when pricing stuff, just you want to check around, and because you can be guilty of pricing too high. I've certainly done it, where it's normally on more niche items where there aren't so many prices. You need to look out for what are called pricing chains, where you've got three prices where the prices are very similar. Say one's £43 and 25p, then you've got £43 and 24p, and then £43 and 23p, and then like each one subsequently, say, a penny cheaper or whatnot. Now, who's to know if that's the genuine price? That could have been caused by there was no pricing on the listing, and then one person came in with just a random number of £43 and 25p, and then 2 people have subsequently gone in and gone, oh, that's a good price, I'll undercut them by a penny. But that first person could have been wrong. It might be worth £5. No idea. So you need to look at services. They're free as well. Websites like Keeper, that's Keepa, and then also camel.com. They're both sort of an Amazon price charting thing, which shows the price history of an item. Now, it isn't on all items. A lot of the niche items they haven't got history for, but that will certainly help. And then for things like books, you've got all sorts of book selling sites like A Books, that's ABE Books, and they're sort of an independent book selling site. Then you can also check on eBay, see what they're going for on eBay. Now the eBay prices will be cheaper 9 times out of 10, but it's also worth checking because there's no point you send. Okay, fair enough. Someone can ask a silly price if it's merchant fulfilled because it costs them nothing to list and they can just store it themselves. But when you're selling FBA, you've got to think: is this going to sell in 6 months? So check those prices and be realistic. But on the sort of ones where there's plenty of prices, price high. I mean, for example, you've got a Sonic DS game which I've just got to hand. The merchant people will sell that for a penny plus £4 and 8p postage, and I'll send that into FBA and probably ask £6.99, £7.99, and and I'll get it because it's a popular game and it'll sell, and people just want the stuff. So don't be embarrassed for asking too high prices. Then also you've got to think, how much is your time worth? How much time is it taking to scan it in? Maybe put packaging around it, put it in a box, then schedule UPS to come and collect it, and then all the fees on top. You're adding value by doing that, so don't underestimate the value of your time. So that's really it. Really, I can't really think of any other bits about Amazon FBA that a lot of the new people are going wrong. I mean, the only other thing I would say is sending items in that you're making a loss on. Now, there is a case in point where sometimes at the top of a box, if you've got a CD that's, say, new and sealed or whatnot, that will sell and you'll make 50p to £1 profit maybe, and you put that on top as almost like packaging material so it protects the stuff underneath, and if it gets damaged then it's, you're not losing out. But if it sells for a few quid, yeah, that's fair enough. But I've seen a lot of people sending in stuff where they're actually paying Amazon to sell it. So they'll be losing like £1 or £2 by selling it because they haven't done their calculations properly. I use Profit Bandit scanning software, and that gives you a breakdown. But the Amazon Seller app is just as good for working that out. I only use Profit Bandit because I'm used to it now and I don't like change. But if you can get used to the Amazon Seller app, that shows you the complete breakdown, and you can see for definite how much money you're actually making, and you need to be on the ball with that because there's no point selling things at a loss. That's a fool's errand. So there you go. So if you have any questions, I will try and answer them in due course if you pop them in the doobly-doo. Also, if you like my channel, if you have any questions, hit me up on Facebook. Search for the English Picker on there. I'll try and do some more videos about FBA if I can. Sorry it's been a bit of a long video, but there's a lot of subjects and details to cover when talking about FBA. I could talk all day about it. It's a great service, but you've really got to be dedicated. Professional is key, and really think about some of the things you're doing. It isn't the quick road to riches like some of the online marketers make it out to be. You can make some terrific profit margins, but you've got to be really sensible. If you're in the get rich quick kind of mentality, stick to eBay. But if you want to take your business to the next level and you can work more like a robot, Amazon FBA is for you. So thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Hit the like button if you like this video, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.